Peter Camp, CTO and founder of CampTek Software. With me today, I have Amy Wooldridge, our VP of Operations and Customer Success. Welcome to another episode of Camp, our weekly podcast on all things automation. Today is the first of a two-part series where we're going to chat through RPA project terms and definitions. First off, Amy, how would you describe what exactly RPA is?
Well, RPA stands for robotic process automation, but this is just a creative way of defining the type of automation technology being used. The word robotic can be a little misleading here. To be clear, robots are not taking over the world or your job. In this case, it is simply meant to convey that tasks and processes that are repeatable or robotic can be automated. Therefore, robotic process automation.
Great, that's an awesome description. I think we'll review on what RPA stands for. It might be a good refresher for those who have already watched or listened to our recent podcast on how to prepare for a scope call. It'd be helpful for our listeners to hear more about these terms as they relate to an active project.
I think so too. So let's start at the beginning of a project. The first step in setting up an RPA project is the discovery phase. Discovery is an opportunity for the customer to determine what processes might be most eligible for automation. You might involve a company like CampTek Software or a business analyst in these conversations to determine what processes are most suitable for automation. Criteria for making these decisions may include budget considerations or staffing challenges, for example.
Actually, that's a good point. What is next? Who else might be involved?
Well, assuming you don't have your own staff who are certified and trained in automation software development, you might want to consider bringing in a managed services provider like CampTek Software to work with you and your team in building the automation solution. A managed services vendor will be in charge of not only developing the automation, but they will test it as well as provide project management throughout the entire duration of a project. After identifying what you would like automated, it's time to scope the process with your managed services vendor. They will work with members of the customer team called the SME and/or the project lead, which are two crucial members of the customer team.
Again, great information. So what exactly is involved in scoping a bot?
Well, a scope is a walkthrough of the process or task, just as the subject matter expert or SME usually completes that process or task, step by step. It is important for your RPA managed services team to understand the process from the very beginning to the very end. The SME is usually the person that completes this process regularly as part of their daily job responsibilities. So they know this process inside and out, and they understand its importance and all of it. They understand its importance and all of its nuances. A project lead is simply the main point of contact who is leading the project from the customer side. They could be someone like a team lead or a department head, for example.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. And there should be lots of input from the customer side.
Yeah, I mean, we may be experts in building automation solutions, but we aren't necessarily experts in your day-to-day processes and systems. Think of a scope call as training a new employee. That's why it's important that an SME be involved.
I certainly agree with that statement. How does the customer know that CampTek Software or another managed services provider understands the project accurately?
That's a great question. It is industry standard that your managed services provider creates what's called a PDD or a process design document. This document is written up as part of the scope process. We record the project as is, which means the project is recorded inside the PDD just as the SME currently completes the process. We share that document with the customer team to make sure our understanding is correct. And as the automation solution is developed, we continue to update the document with the outline of the automation solution. That kind of brings us into our next phase, which is one of the most fun parts, in my opinion, which is the development phase. Think of this phase as the time in the project where your managed services provider is busy building the automation. During this phase, CampTek continues to work closely with the project lead and the SME to share updates and share demos throughout the development phase to show progress. One of my favorite parts is watching the reaction of the customer team when they see an initial demo of the bot logging into their system, for example.
Yeah, our customers do like those videos.
Mhm.
This seems to be a very thorough process, and we've covered a
Yeah.
lot of ground. Next week, we'll pick up from here and walk through the remaining phases of the project and define more of the relevant project terms and definitions. We hope this has been really helpful so far. Until next time, enjoy the automation journey.